Hola, it's Guy Pancho with the Weekly Paleo Report for July 12th, Wednesday of 2023. Today the sun is square Chiron as I am talking to you, the wounded healer. Sun over there in Cancer. The moon is coming around for, after that third quarter square. Okay, she is coming around and coming around. We're going to have a new frickin' moon at 24 degrees, 56 minutes of Cancer. So new moon in Cancer is coming up on Monday. So she's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, coming into the balsamic ending, closing phase of the lunar cycle. I will be talking a little bit about that. Tomorrow she goes into Gemini, okay, and squares. Then, of course, Mars over there in Virgo, Saturn over there in Pisces, and then moves on. By Saturday, she has gone into Cancer, right, where she's going to, come into a sextile with Jupiter over there before she comes into the new moon, right? And then by next Tuesday, she's going to, come into a square with Jupiter. So that's how fast the moon is moving. In addition to that, we have a couple of inconjunct quincunx aspects that I want to talk to you about today. Mercury is inconjunct Saturn on Friday. Venus is inconjunct Neptune on Saturday. Both of these going on. We want to discuss the inconjunct aspect and what that entails, means for all of us. Most importantly, really what I want to be addressing and looking at here is the moon's nodes. By next Tuesday, go into Aries. They change signs after a year and a half. Okay, so this is going to be big change happening. And of course, they're coming into a square with Pluto. And actually, even this new moon at 2456 Cancer is opposite Pluto at 29 Capricorn. So yeah, there's lots going on. There's lots to be talking about. After the sun squares Chiron today, by Friday, it will be in sextile to Uranus. But those are most of the aspects that I want to condense that help to create the mantra for this week and that I want to talk about. So let me sit down and look at the camera. All right, everybody. Before I forget, I got to talk to this week's song. It just came to me and I don't want to forget it. It's David Bowie, Changes. Meet the strange changes. Yeah. Time may change me. I can't change time. What's going on? Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot going on. It's intense. It is intensifying, as you can see with this week's mantra. Okay, it's coming. It's coming. Pluto squaring the moon's nodes will be July 22nd, July 23rd, depending on where you are on planet Earth. And I just did a whole 2-hour video taking this Pluto square the moon's nodes all the way through the 12 houses of your chart. For my, I have the New Paradigm School of Astrology. You can join that school for $22 a month, and I've got like 50 or 100 videos in the library. But this one is, I think it was very illuminating. It certainly was illuminating to me, contemplating and thinking about, how this is going to work differently in everybody's charts. And yet there are some themes that are common to all of us, that are common to planet Earth. So, this is Pluto square the moon's nodes. We call it a skip step, missing link, missing piece to the puzzle. Okay, a necessary detour or a necessary condition or situation that really needs to be addressed before you can move on to the North Node, your future destiny. It's a turning point. and this can be for the entire planet, the entire world, like everybody. But also, governmental, social, educational, religious institutions also facing the need to decide. Am I going forward or backward? Am I going to Aries or am I going to Libra? In this case, okay, there is a need to move towards that North Node. It's at 29 degrees Aries. Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn. South Node at 29 degrees of Libra. If you've got any planets, 28, 29 degrees of the cardinal signs or 0, 1 degrees of fixed signs, okay, you're really getting hammered. And it's time for you to make a big change. So this is very interesting. Now I want to put that as a backdrop, okay? That's in the background. And then but preparing for that change, we also have now the moon, okay, is, balsamic going, ending, finishing, closing from now till, that new moon happening next week. And then we've got Venus slowing down, okay, she's going retrograde. I'm going to talk about that whole Venus retrograde cycle. She's retrograde for 40 days, okay, starting on Saturday the 22nd. And the same day as Pluto square the nodes, Venus stands still. Very powerful. Very powerful. And, just after a new moon. And so what do we have this week? The inconjunct aspect. Okay, I spoke about it. The inconjunct aspect, Mercury to Saturn, Venus to Neptune. This is 150 degrees. This is Mercury moving away. Okay, Mercury moving away from Saturn. Venus moving away from Neptune. And this aspect, it's called the health aspect. It has a Virgo quality to it. If you put Neptune or Saturn on the ascendant, right, Venus or Mercury would be at the cusp of the 6th house, okay, which is going into Virgo, right? This is what we call an adjustment aspect. It is a threshold changing. Sometimes you could call it an ants in the pants or a pain in the ass aspect. It's a graduation aspect. So what you do is you look back to, when they were conjunct, a seed was planted. In this case, Mercury conjunct Saturn, okay, happened back there. It was actually in Aquarius, I believe. And it was time to form, structure, have boundaries, learn when to say yes, when to say no, make mature decisions. All right, and now it's like Mercury is graduating. It's time for Mercury to say goodbye to Saturn. It's time for Saturn to let go of Mercury. And there's this kind of like, are you ready? It's a test. Okay, are you ready to graduate? And Mercury's like, let me out, let me go, let me... I'm tired of being depressed. I'm tired of being so serious. I'm tired of being, held in the grip of Saturn, of duty and responsibility and all this. So Mercury is like... So, yeah, this is, you may feel this tug of war, this pull going on. It's time to make decisions. It's time to make important decisions. And it may not be so clear where to go. Next, Venus in conjunct Neptune. It's time for Venus to graduate from the school of Neptune. It's time for, this love, Neptune's the higher octave of Venus, spiritual love and physical earthly love. Well, it's time for Venus to get real and maybe let go of some illusions or ideals or, delusions around relationship, partnership, but also around money, also around values. And this is where I want to talk about Venus going retrograde a little bit, because she is going to be going retrograde for 40 days starting on the 22nd. Like I said, I'll really get into the whole Venus cycle, the synodic cycle of Venus in next week's Pele report. But I want to just really identify retrograde is rebel, review, redo, remember, rethink, remodel. It's a time of, inward reflection and reflecting on, and what does money and love, and have in common? Values. What I value, my valuables, right? I use my money to buy things that I find valuable, and different people buy different things. Different people find different things valuable. Different people have different values. Some have these spiritual values, material values. I value, sex, money, love, rock and roll, freedom, nature, whatever. Power, glory, influence, intelligence. I mean, we all have a different set of values. And these are reflected in Venus in your natal birth chart. So look to Venus in your natal birth chart. And this is a time of rethinking those values and maybe changing those values, evolving those values. We have different values according to different soul needs. See, our soul evolves from lifetime to lifetime, and we want to, in each lifetime, we have an intention, and I want to evolve this. I want to evolve my understanding of relationships. I want to evolve my understanding, of, my root chakra. I want to, evolve, my understanding. I want to grow and discover, different philosophies or different cultures or different. So we're all born with a different set of values, but society and culture want to impress a certain set of values. Say it's monogamy, say it's marriage, say it's, capitalism, materialism, all the isms, or ocracies, democracies, or socialism, or communism, or different cultures, different societies want to have us conform to these other, values, societal values. But as we individuate on our spiritual journey of evolution, we individualize and we come into our own values. And they may be very different from what we've been told, taught, expected, rewarded for, blah, 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 blah. So, you got 40 days coming up here, and this Pluto squaring the nodes is what? It's breaking free, it's breaking out. The 29th degree of Capricorn, it's a critical degree. It's, Pluto moving into Aquarius is rebelling and revolting against conforming to the established norms of imposed upon us by external authority. It's a time of revolution. And the revolution starts within. I need to change myself before I change the world. I need to change my internal reality. I need to, and that's what the mantra is about today. Getting our house in order. Getting our bodies together. Getting our psyches pure, purged, purified, cleansed. Now, as far as the change that's coming, this is what is really trippy. It's different for different people. And you can, according to your set of values, these changes may be good. And if you have a different set of values, these changes could be bad. Good or bad. Okay? You know, I have, a sweet dear friend of mine is having a baby. She's preparing, cleaning the house, setting up candles, getting the tub, of water together, purifying, smudging, cleansing, and of course I'm sure, the diet and the sleeping and everything. She's just like really, really preparing for baby. This is like a descent. I'm going to read the Sabian symbol for the new moon. Why don't I do that right now? So this is one pathway forward. And it has to do with what? A willful man is overshadowed by a descent of superior power. The response of spiritual forces to the integration of personality through positive, willful endeavors. We're dealing here with a man who uses his will and positive imagination in facing his life problems. To him comes a Pentecostal descent of power. He receives the mantle of power. The grace, baraka in Sufi philosophy, or the providential assistance, which can make him a true leader in his culture. Yeah? This is, you think of the Pentecost, right? In the Christian, right? The tongues, the flaming tongues, that where the disciples of Jesus spoke in tongues. Yeah, there was this descent of power, of spiritual power. So, so for my dear friend, she has a soul incarnating, through her, becoming a mama, right? But this descent of power can also be a hurricane. It could also be a tornado. It could also wipe away or take away something that your unconscious soul no longer feels is valuable for its growth. And your ego may be devastated, hurt, wounded through loss, betrayal, abandonment of something that you thought you needed or was part of your path or was a major distraction. So this can also be a time, and this is where the mantra was tricky. It's like, yeah, this could be like a really great change for some people and really challenging for others, but what do they both have in common? Whether you're expecting a new baby or a rise in power and a raise, a bonus, or whether you're graduating and you're nail biting whether you're ready, okay, or this hurricane is coming, or somebody is leaving, you're divorcing, you're separating. I mean, whether this big change is pleasant and comfortable or unpleasant and uncomfortable, there are some things that still need to be done, right? Whether the king is coming or a sorcerer witch is coming to your house, you want to have it in order. You want to clean it. You want to prepare it. You want to have everything in its place. A place for everything and everything in its place. It's like, right? Because something's happening. My physical body, okay? Whether there's a storm coming, okay, or whether I'm preparing for the Olympics, and I'm a victor, whether I'm a winner or I'm going to get attacked. I want my body in tip-top shape, right? So I'm going to rest. I'm going to get my sleep. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to do my yoga, do my, body workouts. Go, hike through the woods, whatever, bicycle ride, climb, get my body in shape. And my innermost psyche. Yeah, my soul nature, my thoughts and my thinking. I have to be in the now. I have to be mindful. I have to be alert. I have to be awake. I have to be prepared. Okay, I don't want to be surprised. I don't want the king knocking at my door and I'm like, but or I don't want, the sorcerer magician sneaking up, and catching me sleeping, unaware, unprepared, with a dirty aura. So it's like, this is a time period, and this is what these inconjunct aspects have to do with. Number one, they do have to do with this cleansing, purging, purifying of Virgo. So with Mercury, Saturn, purifying your thoughts and your thinking. Venus, Neptune, purifying your intentions, in relationship, in partnership, around money, around, what you're using it for, why you need it, around what you're attracting. This is a very good time. I mean, this new moon to do ceremony. Like really call in. The highest guidance, really call in. Okay, your guides, to help you make these choices, for the highest good, the greatest good of all. And this is the last point that I want to make, because I could rant on forever, but this last point is, and I go into it very much in that 2-hour video, Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn, with the resolution node being the south node in Libra, really has to do with us listening, receiving, accepting relationship to a greater whole. We are participants in a greater whole, and we have a duty, we have a responsibility, especially as elders. If you are past your Chiron return, coming into your Saturn return, after your Saturn return, particularly. But one way or the other, this Pluto, in Capricorn is telling us, before I go into Aquarius, before I liberate, before I can gain enlightenment, before I can really be free, I have an office, a duty, a responsibility to really be there and to hold space and to create, right? Safety and security and stability for my family, for my group, for my community, for the world at large, depending upon, again, your particular soul intention for this lifetime, how big your circle is. But we are all participants in a greater whole. And part of our evolutionary journey is realizing this, accepting this, and acting within it. That's where Jupiter and Saturn come in. That's where honors, awards, recognition, and expansion and growth, Jupiter, comes in. Is how are we participating within that greater whole? Or not? Are we running away from our duty, from our responsibility, from our being, contributing, serving? This is Virgo, 6th house. Are we serving somebody besides ourselves? Are we really, giving something to the greater whole? Or are we just immaturely, taking? So, this is a time to really look at and be aware of and be awake to this part of our destiny as human beings to be serving. Yeah? So, let's just kind of check it out, baby. Ow! I feel in my bones a big change coming, for which I need to prepare. From my house to my body to my innermost psyche, I must remain clear, awake, and aware. I saw that branch break behind me. There's something lurking in the woods. It could be a monster coming to get me. I best be clear, awake, and aware. You know what I'm talking about? Ow! So yeah. I mean, this could have to do with a lot of different things, baby. I mean, I'll talk about, like I said, this shift from the North Node in Taurus to the North Node in Aries. The future destiny, the North Node, has been ruled by Venus for a year and a half. Venus rules Taurus. It's moving into Aries. So our future for the next year and a half is ruled by Mars. So we're doing a big switch here from yin to yang. Okay, from Venus to Mars. And it's time to wake up. No more sitting bull, Taurus. Moving into our warrior energy of Aries. Ow! Yeah, baby. And we don't want to fear it. We don't want to hide from it. We don't want to, be intimidated by it. No. We got to stand up. Stand up for your rights. Oh, that could be another one. Bob Marley, get up, stand up. Don't forget to fight. One more time. Write this on your mirror in the morning or something, Write it on the palm of your hand. Yeah. I feel in my bones a big change is coming, for which I need to prepare. From my house to my body to my innermost psyche, I need to remain clear, awake, and aware. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.